Born in the fire and baptized in the blood. This is the story of Andrew Jackson. It was 1815 at the Battle of New Orleans.
The British began assembling their forces when... Oh my god, I did not see that coming. Dude, you just got fucked up.
Anyway, the 7,000 British troops got their ass handed to them by about 500 ragtag group of cornbready, hillbilly motherfuckers. And by the time he got back to Britain, Admiral, whatever the fuck his name was still saying, "Who the fuck is Andrew Jackson?" Well, I'll tell you who it is, but we gotta go back. How far back? Way back to the beginning. It was that time of our history when America decided they weren't gonna be ruled by a bunch of fags.
He was just a boy during the Revolution, but he was running guns and mail and whatnot with his brother for the rebels. And this British soldier was looking for him, and he chased him in this cabin where he was hiding in the loft. But after a minute, Andrew decided, hey, I'm not going to hide from these douchebags anymore, so he popped up. And he remembered something his old Irish daddy used to always tell him. And then Andrew went down there, he's like, yo man, get out of my house. And the soldier said, no, why don't you shine my boots? And he's like, no. And then the soldier's like, I got my sword out, and I'm going to cut you with it. And he went to take a swipe at him. Andrew put his hand up, and his hand hit the blade, and it left him with a big scar he'd have on his hand for the rest of his life.
Anyway, the soldier took him to this prison camp, and all the way there, all 45 miles, Andrew's just bleeding all over the place. They didn't dress his wound or nothing. Andrew's brother wasn't hurt, but he wanted to make it out alive. That place was bad news, man. That prison ship was no joke, boy. Let me tell you some of the things that little kids should not see. Had him in stress positions, had him pointing at some dude's wiener for hours on end, and that didn't even make sense. But prison turned that little boy into a hard-ass motherfucker, man. But then after he got out of prison, he was kind of lost. Those were kind of his whiskey-drinking, booby-touching days. But then he thought, hey, I'll move to Tennessee, find myself a lady, get married, buy a house. Then he got real into black chicks. Oh, and who could blame him? Damn, twerk it, girl. You know baby drinks milk. He also met all the requirements to run the Tennessee militia, so he did that for a little while, which was kind of fun. You get to travel around and see the countryside and all that.
But after a while, the poor guy just got bored. Like he just got complacent, like he's just going through the motions. It all just felt like another day in the office.
Whee! What a cute baby.
But then a great thing happened for Andrew Jackson. The War of 1812 broke out. I don't know, the war was something to do with the U.S. trying to invade Canada. It's not really important right now. But this is a great opportunity for Andrew Jackson. He finally had a chance to do what all soldiers want to do and kill white people. Not just any white people, the British, the ones that messed his hand all up when he was a little kid. Most of the war was focused on the East Coast and the North, where they had all their forces. And President James Madison, who was the president, he was looking for generals. Andrew's like, oh, pick me, I can do it. But every time Madison thought of Jackson, he just remembered what a redneck piece of shit he was. So he didn't really want him. However, the British got this great idea to try to take America through the South, right up America's butthole. And the only military man they had over there was Andrew Jackson. And he definitely didn't like taking it up the butt. But he had no real army. He had no forces. So he had to assemble whoever he could find. He assembled some slaves he didn't own, some Indians he ain't killed yet, the Kentucky militia, and some pirates. And despite his men's lack of training, he didn't give a fuck. He just rolled down there just with the idea of just whooping some British ass. That's all he cared about. And that's exactly what he did. The British were all cocky too. They thought they were going to dominate that shit. It was like 5-1, and he still whooped their ass. I mean, ultimately, the peace treaty between the U.S. and Britain had already been signed like 6 months before, so the battle really didn't mean shit, anything militarily. However, it did put Andrew Jackson on the map, and I don't know, he became the president later and did some other things. I don't know, maybe I'll do another movie. Doesn't really matter. Thanks for watching. That's the story of Andrew Jackson there. Thanks, buddy. Bye-bye.